You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include death of loved ones, grief, heights and falling, complex relationships, interpersonal conflict, food, and references to classism and climate disaster. Arc 4, Episode 1. I Do Not Dream. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. I do not dream. Dreams are beget by the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is beget by an awareness of soul. An awareness of soul is beget by, well, me, I suppose. And yet, even a god can dream. Meat, cellulose, cytoplasm, pulpous genetic material, none of these components are a prerequisite for gestating dreams. Even the moon can dream. Once upon a time, in some world far away from this one, before the universe was big, before time touched oblivion. Envy is not the right word. To dream is to be mortal. It reveals the ghosts that haunt you. It tells you about the stories you tell yourself, stories of identity, stories of loss, stories of the lessons you choose to learn. It unearths the coffins you ignore. It stirs the blood you refuse to taste. It turns the puzzle box over and over and over in your mind until you figure out how to solve it, or break it, or leave it behind, or bury it. But nothing stays buried forever. Especially pain, especially hope. Even if it never sees the light of consciousness again, it decomposes inside of you. Your dormant mind absorbs it, and it comes out in the strangest of fashions. An outburst over the dishes, a sudden silence in the middle of a conversation, a thoughtless phrase spoken out of turn. And your dreams, they show you your decay. They reveal all the grief and rage and penance and pride and self-pity and shit you absorb in the process of being a person. They reveal your own slow death, because you are dying. All of you are, from the moment you are born or created or dreams into existence. You are all, each of you, on the long, inevitable march towards an ending. So no, envy is not the right word. There is no jealousy here for the spectacle beget by the subconscious mind. Rather, there is not only jealousy, but also pride for the creation and gift of it all. Curiosity for a phenomenon I will never experience. And happiness, tinged with sorrow, for all the knowledge and lessons and chances you will receive over and over and over and over again until you finally make a different choice. Or die trying. Xainan Esch. You are dreaming of the day you met Strike Team Nova, before it became Strike Team Nova. How much time before the Chosen One dies? It doesn't matter. This is a dream. We're not keeping score. There is the chronologist, freshly 15, who comes to the Syndicate with no memory of the world that oblivion took from her. A girl, smart and self-possessed, who spends more time in the archives than anywhere else, in trans. A girl quick of mind and perennially overworked, who reminds you of who Doxa might have been. Her name is 12 syllables, though you know only 3. An allusion to starlight, royalty, righteousness, love, a name full of loss, a taste you know well. There is the Omen speaker, 14 years old, their earnest heart hidden by insecurity. They are identical to their sister in all the ways that don't matter, and different in all the ways that do. At least that's what they tell themselves. He is broad-shouldered and dependable, a hunter's gaze already looming in a face that hasn't quite come of age. A boy, true of spirit and full of rage, who reminds you of who Doxa might have been. His name is 2 syllables, the shadow cast by light, the moon that reflects the sun, a name full of contradiction, a taste you know well. There is the Chosen One, 14 years old, their hair as short as a mortal's lifespan. Their eyes are bright and pink, and they lance right through you, right through that spot in their chest where they died. She is strong and confident and a beam of sunlight in the darkest reaches of your subconscious. The Chosen One, constantly striving for a perfection they will never achieve, who reminds you of who Doxa might have been. Her name is 1 syllable, a single voice with infinite sound, a song that hasn't happened yet, a taste you do not know, a taste you have always known, a taste you will one day know. But you don't know any of this, Xainan. Not yet. You're still dreaming. You stand outside the door to the lone survivor support group, bathed in the light of a false sun shining through a viewing bay. On one side of the hallway, verdant acres of tilled farmland stretch all the way across the horizon, and on the other side of the hallway, cold tile tessellates toward infinity. Here, inside this memory corridor dream, you take a moment to yourself before you put on Agent Xainan Esch, support group leader Xainan Esch, mentor figure Xainan Esch, for all the people who look up to you and respect you and need you in there. The door to LSSG is made of steel and glass. The door to LSSG is made of mist and prayer beads. The door to LSSG is made of vines and soulshank thorns. The door to LSSG is made of wood and brass with a well-worn handle that Dom once ripped clear from its fittings after a raucous night of drinking. The door to LSSG is cracked open, barely ajar. From beyond the threshold, you hear the whispering of ghosts. The ghosts of the living, the ghosts of the dead. And that's when they round the corner. The chronologist, the Omen speaker, and the Chosen One. Lumièra and Seir, the two of you stride down the hallway toward LSSG, accompanied by Sing. Today is the day that Lumièra attends their first meeting in the all-ages support group, a graduation from youth counseling. Today, Lumièra takes one of many steps into adulthood and into becoming, a role that she has always desired, a role that all of you have always desired. Lumièra and Seir, as your trio walks down this hallway, tell me, what are the three of you talking about?
Lumièra is walking so nonchalant, she could be literally doing anything else. She's 15. 15. She's millions of other things that could be happening. So she's not really like into all of this, so her disinterest shows on her face. So like she kind of is like walking kind of stilted and flopping and like not really paying attention, and it's like I don't even know why I was even supposed to. All they're gonna do is like make me color or something. Color your grief, show what it looks like. Like Artemis has this new, like this really new sharp blade that I saw them put up in their office the other day. And we could just go to that instead. And then we can just like tell Artemis that I went. It's like who's even gonna be like looking for me here? Like, let's be honest.
You say that as if Artemis is not going to immediately know that 1, we are lying, and 2, we definitely did not bring you to LSSG.
I'm a better liar than you are.
And we see Seir, who has short, wavy hair, sat upon like a neat, undercut, bright eyes, and a smaller figure than one he grows into in adulthood. His antlers barely branch out more than the single curl branched, not yet done its first shedding. And he like laughs a little bit. We see a bit of peach fuzz growing at the bottoms of his chin. I mean, you're right. Artemis knows that I'm lying, but you say that as if any of us are good liars in front of Artemis.
Saying we could totally do this. And Lumièra's like so much shorter than the rest of them. She's a little thing, like just barely over 5 foot, just so much smaller. She had a growth spurt later in life when we do finally see her in the arc. But she just looks so, just her arms are crossed across her chest. And she just looks at Sing.
Sing looks tempted. Sing very often looks tempted to do things that she's not supposed to do, to behave in ways that they're not supposed to behave. And the only people that see this temptation on their face that are able to recognize it are the two of you. To any outside untrained eye, they just look excited. And we see a teenage Sing, a 14-year-old Sing, very similar to Seir, like obviously you're identical twins, but you're starting to diverge in your presentation here. Sing also has short hair, white, with a cute little, like baby's first queer undercut as well, on like the opposite side from your undercut a little bit. Short and a little wavy. It hasn't quite poofed into those huge long waves that we see when they're an adult. They also almost have like little nubbin horns, just like you, Seir. They also haven't had their first shed, and their bright pink eyes are glittering and enthusiastic as they quickly stride ahead and then turn around, so they're walking backward as they address the two of you with a kind of perfect sort of graciousness. They prop their hands behind the back of their head and they go, that does sound like such a fun idea to just ditch this, and go to Artemis. But Seir's right. No matter how good of a liar any of us are, Artemis would know. And I think we can have our cake and eat it too. I mean, you can do this LSSG thing, right? Which I think is really important because Artemis was the one that said he should do it. And we can ask Artemis about the blade afterward. Yeah?
And in Seir, as Sing talks about that, Seir like nods enthusiastically about plans for after Lumièra is done with LSSG, and Seir like curls their tail around Sing's and like holds it like two children would hold hands, and we see Seir fiddling with something on the inside of his pocket that he peeks at briefly. A permission slip for a list of 4 to 5 books from the archives. Of course, ones that Lumièra has talked about for weeks. Yeah, we could make a whole thing about it. We can grab snacks from the cafeteria, and then we can get all the books that you want, and then we can go and bother in other Mrs. office. She won't mind.
Yeah, books like a reward. And come on, it's your first meeting. It's only an
little
hour.
Office picnic.
Lumièra kind of like her eyes kind of perk up at that a bit before she quickly like tampons it down. It's like, fine, all right. And she just kind of like leans on your shoulder, Seir, just like, all right, so after this, we'll get through this meeting. It's gonna be like an hour and a half tops. And then we can go to the library. We can get that book, what that book I've been telling you for like 2 months now to get. Neither here nor there, but I'm at least glad you're reading it now. I told you you were gonna like it, and then we can go see what's going on with Artemis. Sounds like a deal.
Sounds like a deal.
Deal. And Seir, past Sing's antlers, which barely obscure the rest of the corridor, you are the first to notice the ghost? Huh. Strange trick of the light, the man, standing outside the door to LSSG. What about him do you see first?
Seir always catches onto one thing about every single person: their eyes. And there's a way that Xainan holds himself with his eyes that Seir feels compelled to stand up a little straighter. As Lumièra's hand is on his shoulder, he lifts himself a little higher as he stares at this authoritative figure, this cool authoritative figure with his dusters and scarves and intense stare, a man who carries a weight that Seir will not only understand in the next decade. And he leans over towards Sing and goes, "Hey, I think that's the person from LSSG. They look like they're waiting."
Very subtly, the perfect practitioner of don't look now, but there's someone behind you. Sing kind of tilts their head, cocks their head at a very slight angle. Those pink eyes slide to the left, and they notice Xainan. And very subtly, without giving anything away, they turn back, still walking backward toward Lumièra, and they lean in with their hands tucked into the pockets of their robe-like outfit that they have. And they kind of whisper at you, Lumièra, "Hey, I think there's someone outside LSSG you should really make a good impression on."
Like, who though?
That guy. Don't look now, but he's dead ahead, 12 o'clock.
And Lumièra does the thing where, as Sing's walking backwards and facing me, she just kind of slightly shifts perspective around Sing.
Seir follows you because you're still leaning on your shoulder.
Oh. Who's that?
He's cool, right?
Super cool. I think I kind of recognize his face. I've never spoke to him before, but I'm pretty sure he's one of the people in charge of LSSG.
I mean, like, his jacket's cool or whatever. Let's go.
Okie dokie. And Sing finally turns back around and rights themselves so they're facing Xainan. And Xainan, that is when this gaggle of 3 teenagers pulls up in front of you.
Xainan, who has been standing sentry, trying not to listen. But also inside, he is yelling at himself to look at them. To really look at them as this copy-paste same man he's been for a decade stands there and watches. The flat brim hat, the long duster, the wrapped shawl, all of it the same. And he stands there with a smile but he can see from the outside, the inside. The smile takes a minute. It lags behind the joy he is experiencing, seeing young people be happy together. But he does smile when they approach, and there is a dagger inside of it for himself. These young people who could be her. Hey, welcome to LSSG.
Yeah, thanks, I guess. Am I like supposed to report to you or something?
You are in the right place. You're here for the onboarding, yeah?
Yeah. Welcome
What
to
about
the
you two?
Freeworks Club. They're friends of mine.
Just help accompanying Lumièra.
Well,
Sir.
I'm Sing.
that's,
This is Seir, my brother. And Sing slings an arm around you, Seir, and kind of pulls you closer into the orbit of their warmth.
Yes, sir.
That's
Seir.
Lumièra.
Xainan politely inclines his hat. He knows who Sing is. Not just because this is his dream and he's dreamt of her 1,000 times. She's the chosen one. And even this memory of Xainan looks at her, sees her. She's still perfect. And he looks to Seir, and he wishes that he had looked longer to actually see this young man, but he looks kind of right through him. And he looks to Lumièra. An important task. Someone he should care for more. He really should have cared for more. And he smiles at her. Well, it's very kind of you to bring her, but Lumièra,
Yeah.
why don't you come with me?
You said your name was Xylophone?
Oh. Xainan. I'm Xainan.
Sign in.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. Sorry. And I think in that moment, Lumièra looked at Xainan in that moment and felt a warmth in the gaze. But that warmth reflected deeper hurt. And I think even as young as she was, she realized that it reflected hers. So she turns to Sing and Seir. I'll see you guys later. I got this.
All right.
Okay,
Have a good
sounds
meeting.
good.
Thank you.
We'll be waiting with those books.
Lumièra, when you turn around, Xainan, this matching set, just like the matching set you say goodbye to. Pain and pain, grief and grief. Xainan holds open the door for you.
I think Lumièra is still small enough to kind of just have to duck under your arm to get through to the door, and walks right past. Okay. What do we do now?
Xainan and Lumièra, as the two of you retreat into LSSG, Xainan's name rings in the air for all of you. It's 3 syllables, though he has only introduced himself with 2. An allusion to farmland, to wind and wing, to gun oil and a good nap underneath the light of twin suns that haven't died yet, to being loved by people that aren't here anymore. A taste that Lumièra and Seir, the 2 of you, know well, but not Sing. She never gets the chance to. Time bends, memory retreats, the dream reverses. It all happens in such a slow, languid, gentle way. Streaks of sunlight bleeding into farmland, into soulshank vine, into dust, mist. Xainan, you fall backward into your own mind, your own subconscious. Diablo's fingers, cold and dry, intertwine with yours. The hammer of creation stuns you upside the head. A ghostly wolf races alongside your outrider through an ocean of leaves. Naeem lets a moth crawl over his cheek gently and sweetly. So, Sorna sits next to your bed, nursing you out of a fever, pressing hot tea against your lips. Ija lies next to you, flat in the tall grass, staring down a scope. Piera pins your hand against a scarred table, working the blade of a jackknife between your splayed fingers. Dom fries an egg at the stove as you hand him salt. Azalis kisses you beneath unending starlight. Doxa slumbers in your arms. You fall, and you fall, and you fall, and you land in a bed, in therapeutics and recovery, bathed in the light of a false sun shining through a viewing bay. Sitting by your side is the patron saint of mortals, Artemis.
Good morning, Xainan Esch. Do you know where you are?
It's you. Xainan catches himself, the coughing, even in his dreams. But the memory resumes. He paints the patron saint's face with starlight in his memory. No, I don't think so.
That's okay. It's been a few weeks. You were in rough shape when we brought you in. Do you remember who I am?
Of course I know you. But no. And Xainan shakes his head. The current visage of him with his bright marks staring up at her, wishing she were wherever he is, longing still for that steadiness. But the face of a cracked and dying man. No marks, just thick woven scars.
Artemis follows
You
the
were there.
script of your dream. She doesn't seem to notice. I was there. We were both there, but we're not there anymore. Welcome to the Transplanar Reification and Nourishment Syndicate.
The memory he thinks over again, even in his dream. This isn't the stars. This isn't where my family is. And there's a moment of heartbreak in his eyes. What does that mean?
When she turns her eyes on you, this feeling you will grow accustomed to. But in this moment, it is still new. The intensity of it, the gravity of it, burns through you. Mismatched gaze, looking at you, really looking at you, like she could see into your thoughts. This is not the afterlife, if that's what you're thinking. Though, some of us do think of it as another life, beyond what we've already lived.
How did I get here? What's going?
It's okay. Take it slow. You're still in rough shape. You're in therapeutics and recovery. Your world... This expression, she turns away from you. You don't get to see what's on her face here. Not in the dream or in the memory. Your world is lost to us now. Oblivion has claimed it as her own. I'm very sorry, Xainan Esch.
What do you mean? What does that mean? Where is my home? Where is Kaseki? What does that mean?
Right now, it is somewhere very, very far away. And you cannot go back there. Not now. But that doesn't need to be the end. For you.
And he would cry if he could. But he hasn't gotten that back yet.
She pauses, though, as though you do cry in the memory dream, for as many minutes as it takes that collapse into themselves until the time has passed and the memory moves on, the dream moves on.
Xainan steps out of this dust form held together at TNR that he remembers just for a second, and really looks at her, wondering why she said it that way.
You can see
What
her
that
in
meant.
profile. Strong nose, strong brow, strong eyes, strong face. She does not turn that strength onto you, and only apologizes without looking you in the eye.
A man looking for hope, searching his dreams for evidence, for answers. He will look for her everywhere. And he
There are others
cries.
like you here, she says through your tears. Many others like you. We do what we can to trust in her will, to stop the next world from falling.
And there she sees the eyes of a hunter. Something to do, an invitation to action. I'll do it.
Then there's a place for you here. And that's where the dream breaks apart. You distinctly remember Artemis getting up and leaving after this, giving you time to think it over, to let the medics of TNR bring you back from the brink. She let you rest. But here, this Artemis, who speaks to you in the dream, she doesn't leave. She doesn't turn away. And there is a fury in her face that you don't recognize because she has not turned that onto you ever. Not ever. Maybe somewhere in Inferno there was something close to it. But here? No. That fury does not match her cold mouth, her distant heart, her weeping face, the grief that you know well. Instead, she finally turns to you.
He jumps. He stumbles backward in his own dream, this body held together by bandages.
Listen to what I mean, Xainan, not what I say. Everything has two names. Everything means something else too. Wake up. I said wake up!
Your eyes fly open. Artemis is gone. The Syndicate is gone. For a moment you are disoriented, confused, lost. You have no idea where you are, when you are. But the patron saint's words ring in your ears, a vestige of the dream you now sweat out from your pores. Which words are they?
Everything has two names.
Those words stick in your teeth. Something about them feels not wrong necessarily, but particular, so specific. That phrase lodges itself between your canine and your incisor and refuses to let go. And as you regain your senses, your wherewithal, your vision swims into focus, and you remember where you are. You are in a dark metal hallway on the Apani Kestrel, the ship you stole from Dom's contact Inez back at the Obake Izakaya. It's been a few days. 3, 4, maybe, as far as you can tell, soaring through a slipstream on your way towards your destination. So tell me, Xainan, where are you? What do you look like? And what were you doing before you fell asleep on the Kestrel?
Even in the real world, in this place that he is so familiar with, Xainan Esch is a man made of memories. A hand steadies itself after the jarring rousing from his sleep. He grabs his hat, clutches it against his chest, and then he picks up the thing sitting next to him in a window with starlight behind him. He's been crafting a message. Green and orange pair of eyes trace over the 5th or 6th version of this message that he was going to send and then he wasn't going to send. And looking back at him are his new markings. The broken crosshairs of a hunter mixed with the tears that he has worn even in those memories. He wasn't going to send it. Now he's going to. Just 3 short words. He writes himself, dusts off his hat like it got dirty in the 5 seconds that he fell asleep here in his exhaustion. It is still that long shadow cast by Ying Esch in the soul-shank vines of Siren's song. It is braided, though, with a single band around it, handmade, and the feather of a carrion crow tucked in it. He doesn't put it on, he sets it aside to finish this message. As he does, a dusty old coat that he plucked up in a memory of dust, all buckles and patches and threadbare, hangs on him, but it fits him like a shell or a shroud. The wear at the shoulders and elbows, and even tattered at the hem, fit the shape of him. It is unfamiliar to the records of trans, but it is a second skin for Xainan Esch. He wears a long, familiar kimono that was pulled over his legs, with a sakura blossom swirling in the stitching that catches the starlight. It isn't alone. There's a crescent and a clock, and others. The same tokens he wore on his neck in Inferno, now integrated into that kimono from the city of heaven, rewoven in the journey. The pants beneath are patched and puzzled together and feel not only the same, but so different because they're not dry and full of dust. None of it feels like sandpaper against his raw skin. It's comfortable and worn. They end in boots, the ones he had in his memories and nightmares that sounded like a sounding deep in the depths of the sea as he trudged through the dust storms. They're heavy and sturdy, built for mining or something. They were quite a find on an abandoned truck, and it took so long to get them clean the first time that he was going to have them pried off of his cold, dead body. And they were in tatters at TNR. He was... those arms wrapped in bandages, now wrapped in something similar. Fabric, strips and scraps, anything to keep the dust off, to keep it off of him. But that didn't save her. It was never enough to save her. But the glowing orange tube that we see wrapping around it all, from a respirator box on his back and around to a transparent mask hung by a clip on his chest. That would have saved her. Would have saved a lot of people. And he found it just abandoned in a locker on the Apani Kestrel upon arrival. And he has spent every second scouring for parts, useful items, and somewhere to hide all of his feelings that he has had since we've boarded. And now he folds them unceremoniously into 3 words. We ain't settled. And he just signs it XE and sends it.
The window by your side. Beyond it, you see the blurry lights and infinite colorful streaks of a slipstream just beyond your reach, casting dancing, dazzling, blurry light across the message, this digital letter, before you it off into the everything. This slipstream is 12 inches beyond your reach, to be exact. That's how thick the glass is. 12 inches, a foot, separates you from the galaxy you grew up in. A galaxy whose air you haven't breathed in 10 long years. The Opus Fuyumi system. You're here again. Somehow, impossibly. Back where it all began. Back where you all began. Here in the slipstream, you can't make out specific stars or constellations, but you do recognize the color of their light, the silent aura of their sound, the affect of their shine as they streak past your vision faster than the mortal eye can follow. What feeling stirs within you, a feeling you've not encountered in a decade?
They are moving so fast. But being in these stars, the closest thing that he's felt to this in a decade was the river god, standing among his ghosts. Somewhere in these stars, it fills his heart to know that he is in the starlight shared by Ija and Sorna, by Doxa. His heart breaks 1,000 times just thinking her name, hearing the echo of having to tell Dom she didn't make it. And now Pira, moving fast like she deserves, right outside this window. He wonders if that's fun for her. It hits him all over again. But there is joy and hope, as this starlight has been his longest comfort. And he's looked for it everywhere we've gone.
But you don't find it again. Until now. Until this very moment. Here in the Kestrel, a hope, a light, guiding you back home. That letter that you write, what within it allows you to leave Dom behind?
Dom has always been clear when he needs space or not. This was a slammed door in his face, but of all of them, Dom is the one that's always found his feet again. And he seems to have some strange grounding, but then he thinks about the smell of cognac on his breath. How much change had come to him, a metal hand. And he wonders 1,000 times if he's done the right thing, but in the moment he knew that leaving was the right course of action, because out there, pulling him like he was on a tether, is Azali's raid. And Dom is safe now but maybe Azal isn't.
Xainan, it's time. Your ETA is drawing closer and closer, and soon you know that the Kestrel will leave the slipstream, and you'll be... well, you're gonna need your team for what's coming next. So Seir, tell me, where are you, what do you look like, and what are you doing when Xainan finds you on the Apani Kestrel?
Seir's in the cargo hold. Right now, it is dimly lit. The main light in this room is coming from the LED panels on his cybernetic tail and antlers. Thanks, Shiv. I'm closing the door. He has opinions today. The LED lights from the cybernetic panels that move as if they are loading. Dim blue lights. As Seir stands in deep thought, the white Henley that he wears is rolled up to his elbow right now, and his hand is resting on the leather harness just above his pinstriped waistcoat, holding it taut as he stares at these shelves and cupboards within the cargo hold, these boxes of supplies, equipment, contemplating everything. And on his teeth are a few like metallic twine that he's using to tag each of these boxes, cargo equipment, like he had been taught, like he had been trained by the great huntress themselves. Why did she teach me that? Obviously to survive, but our missions weren't that survival heavy. No, that only came during the Mayday missions. Did Artemis know that we would have Mayday missions? And we see the blue lights of these cybernetic antlers and tail turn red for a moment, then back to blue, as Seir shuffles that thought off to somewhere else. And he keeps moving, putting a hand between the faux hawk wavy curls that fall onto his shoulder as he moves to another shelf to tally and make connections between what is written on the manifest and what is actually here within the ship's cargo. And he's been doing this for a long time, moving between this place, and his other arm rests on the one crescent blade he carries. Patience. Away from their sibling, just like he is. And he tags all of these items, and I think there's at one point he sees like hanging on a hook climbing equipment. There's a grappling hook and some set of pythons that he picks up. It jiggles in his like large hand as he observes it, makes sure there isn't any rust, and then attaches it to his belt. That would be useful for later.
The harness is definitely configured to a size smaller than yours. Definitely the size of Inez. There are many carabiners on this contraption as well, but you are very easily able to reconfigure this equipment to fit your form. And Seir, inside this cargo hold, it's probably the largest room on the Kestrel, aside from the bridge itself, as it takes like the entire width and length of like the bottom level of the ship. So in here, there are metal walls, low ceilings. It feels really cramped and a bit sterile, just black, jagged metal fixings and trimmings, and no windows. Very dim fluorescent lights lining the ceiling that pale in comparison to your built-in cybernetic illumination. As for all of the cargo you've been diligently and dutifully tallying, I'm just gonna tell you right now what you find. So there are exactly 2 large bales of, as far as you can tell, some sort of thin, lightweight but durable metal, kind of like wound up in these big spools. 2 of them, they look really heavy, kind of placed on either side, one to the like bottom left corner of the ship, the other to the bottom right, to kind of work as weight distribution. And both of these bales are fastened to the walls with tough nylon nets to kind of keep them in place through turbulence. Okay. There are also dozens and dozens and dozens of large sheets of rubber, just like big raw materials of rubber, just stacked on wooden pallets. And you also see large sheets of reinforced carbon and what look to be a kind of thick tiles. They almost feel like rubber when you touch them, but they seem thicker than that and like less bendy. And the siding of the tile has various layers in it that you wouldn't be able to tell what they were made of unless you like looked even closer. But the star of the cargo hold aren't these bales or these crates or these sheets. It is the 24 barrels that take up almost half of the entire cargo hold. These large kind of industrial-sized barrels, each almost as tall as you and almost as wide as well. They're really big. And if you tried to move them, they're quite heavy, but would be movable by someone of your strength. But it would take like all of your strength to like lift one up and hoist it around. And these heavy metal barrels are stacked also on top of wooden pallets. And each barrel bears a logo, a stamped insignia of a 2-headed sea serpent. This same logo is also emblazoned on both wings of the Apani kestrel itself.
What in the name of fate were you trying to deliver? Seir thinks to themselves as they're looking through all of these, as far as they're concerned, extremely strange set of items. Strange combination of materials that's set here. And we see the loading paneling lights like increase in speed and Seir's tail swish in between the different steps he makes around this place. I think he's like crouching by the barrel and looking directly at that insignia as he like traces over it with a finger. How very odd. And he tags it. There's like a piece of like metal twine that he hooks onto perhaps a like little drilled area where it would be easy to like pick up by the handle, and tags it. And that tag is red, something that Seir denotes for potential danger, something we shouldn't shuffle around either by weight or whatever the hell is inside this thing. So he shall not open it.
Seir, back in Inferno, part of your cover story was that of a construction worker. And though you did not exactly show up to your job aside from that initial meeting where you were promptly kicked out, you did, over the course of several weeks, pick up on some things from the House of the Shrike, which is basically the general foundational knowledge around construction materials. And looking around all of you, this almost reminds you of a job site that one of the Shrikes might have overseen. Like, these materials look like raw materials to build. You can recognize this easily enough, to build something. Whatever it is, these materials are of an exceedingly high quality. Though this is your first time in the Apis Fayumi system, even you can tell that. Like, every single piece of material here is very durable, but also each single item is fairly lightweight. So whatever it is, it must have cost a pretty penny. And the fact that there's so much here speaks to the value of this cargo. As for the barrels themselves, just as you tag it and kind of trace your finger over the logo, there's a slight rocking, very normal, just like a slight rocking of turbulence on the ship, and you kind of like are able to catch your balance very easily, but you hear within each of these barrels a kind of sloshing noise, side to side.
Questions beget more questions in Seir's mind, wondering of the value and the target that puts on our backs. We, for all the intents and purposes, procured this ship, and that puts us in an unfortunate position potentially for whoever wants these lightweight, durable, expensive materials. And Seir makes note of that, and then his mind drifts to Xainan. Xainan has a lot of questions and question marks that have surrounded Xainan like a halo in Seir's mind. Who is this man? What did he do? What did he know? Why is Kiseki still a possibility? Why has everything panned out this way? And we see once again the color of the blue flash to yellow, almost to orange, and it shuts back down to a solid blue as a thought, a worry, and a question are hidden behind a colorful door that bears a painting of Xainan in Seir's mind.
Think of the devil, and he shall come. That is exactly when you hear the automatic doors of the cargo hold open, and familiar bootsteps come in. Xainan, what one line do you use to rally Seir to the bridge?
Team meeting. Bridge.
Heard.
Lumièra. We pan through the kestrel now to find you. Where are you? What do you look like? And what are you doing when Xainan finds you on the Apani kestrel?
Lumièra's kind of been off to herself for the most part. But in the rare times where she is out and about, it's typically attached at Ying He's hip. So right now, Lumièra is, I'm pretty sure she's sitting in the gallery or the bridge somewhere along the lines with Ying He. Ying He's probably fidgeting with something on the control panels, while Lumièra is a bit more elsewhere. So she's sitting in the chair, probably like directly next to Ying He. Her feet are kind of sprawled across Ying He's lap, and she's leaning on the back two legs of the chair instead of all fours, as she's just flipping through her chronology book, and just kind of is like every now and then in between pages, like making small conversation with Ying He, or like talking or responding to whatever it is that he asks of her. Lumièra is, you kind of see she's a bit more detailed than normal. So she's, her hat, her very flat top, wide brimmed hat is sitting kind of lightly at the top of her head, just kind of tilted slightly to the left. Her face is marked in very intricate, beautiful dot work, dot lines, more reminiscent in them face painting. And across her leather jacket, up her forearms, are these gold tassels that kind of, you, when she flips a page, you hear kind of rub up against the rest of her clothes and make kind of like a little fabric noise to that extent. She's wearing very nice chaps that have fringes that hang directly down the leg, and her typical boots. Beautiful ornate gold belt buckle. Her hair is kind of all braided off over to the side, and her pocket watch sits directly in the front breast, the left breast of her shirt. And she's just like, you think Xainan's going to stay in his room forever? Like, he just can't, like, not talk to us, right?
As for Ying He, They are sitting very close to you, next to you, also in a chair. Both of these chairs are kind of stacked around a small circular table in the middle of the galley, and there's counter space around, lining the walls of the galley, also in kind of like a circular shape. And a galley, of course, is the tiny kind of cramped kitchen of the Apani Kestrel. There's barely enough room for the two of you. You're not sure how you could fathom there being 4 or more people here at a time. There's no stove here. There's only what you both have figured out at this point, a food dispenser in the center of the table that the two of you are sitting at. It's a kind of very rudimentary device with a single plastic depression at the end, like you might find at a fast food restaurant to dispense cutlery. But if you press down on it, it dispenses food packets instead. And that's currently what Ying He is playing with. They have a small pile of dispensed ration pouches off to the side, and they're currently like depressing the lever again, looking almost like they're playing a little like a slot machine game that you might find across Inferno. They're kind of like pressing at the plastic, and another pouch pops out. They pick it up and they look at it and they go, monitor flavor. I do like the monitor flavor, very lizard-like. I'm sorry, what was that, Lumièra? Oh, Xainan, right?
I think when Ying He says very lizard flavored, I think Lumièra at the same time, when Ying He asked, oh, what was that you said? Lumièra's like, what?
You know, lizard flavored. It kind of tastes like chicken, but more tender.
I will take your word on that. I was asking about Xainan.
Oh. Yes. No, he can't ignore us forever. He's going to talk to us soon. I'm positive about that. And as Ying He puts the monitor-flavored ration pouch off to the side, they turn to face you. And we see a person that looks very similar to how they were at the bar at the end of the world. They're wearing a kind of dark gray Hanfu-style jacket with deep, beautiful purple trim all around the hem over a pale linen shirt with buttons that go all the way up to a standing collar, similar to Qing Dynasty formal wear for men. And they're also wearing these tall leather boots with these bright gold laces that go all the way up to the knee. They have various like leather pouches strapped to their waist and a kind of slender, slim, elegant gold belt buckle in a very ornate decoration fashion. And hanging off of their clothes in places where you might expect there to be kind of hanging strips like a cowboy might wear, there are instead purple rui tassels in every place where there might be strips. The one difference is they have found, very serendipitously, and procured from within the bowels of the Apani Kestrel, a hat, a Weimao kind of stitched hat with a veil that hangs, a translucent veil that hangs elegantly all the way down. Right now, they're not wearing the hat in the galley, but it is kind of set off to the side, taking up almost half of the counter space on the other side of the table. And Ying He says to you, are you worried for Xainan?
I mean, yeah, aren't you?
Well, yes, but he seems very motivated, and I'm sure it's for good reason.
I mean, I would assume. It's hard to wrap my mind around. For a long time you think one thing and then you find out something completely different, and what you thought you knew was nothing like what you thought you knew at all. And then having to consistently have to deal with the reopening of that wound again, losing another place over and over and over again. Partially because of me. That's neither here nor there.
While you were talking, Lumièra, Ying He had silently reached over and gently taken one of your hands in theirs just giving you a small and reassuring squeeze as you kind of pull yourself out of that line of thinking. And Ying He's lips part briefly, and they look like they're about to say something, but that's when the automatic door to the galley open, and we find Xainan Esch at the threshold.
He lets out a sharp whistle.
Heard.
Team meeting.
Strike Team Nova. The four of you reunite in the bridge of the Apani Kestrel. This part of the ship is as sleek and militant as the rest of it, with hard-edged 90-degree fixings carved from black metal and glowing blue holographic displays, similar to the displays scattered throughout every other room on this ship. In the bridge, a central bank of consoles squats in front of the main windows, whose shutters are partially open to admit flashing strips of light from the slipstream beyond. And mounted to the center of the console is a steering wheel, but its gyroscope is currently locked in place and rocks to the rhythm of the ship while autopilot is engaged, so none of you have to manually fly the ship. Behind this central console is an array of 4 seats, each one bolted to the floor and featuring these cross-chest safety straps. All in all, not a super large cockpit, but there is enough space for all of you, more or less, if you squeeze in a little bit. And Xainan, as your strike team settles into the bridge, how do you turn and address Seir, Lumièra, and Ying He?
He starts by steeling himself. He sets his hat down on the console, looks at the stars, hopes somewhere out there that anyone who could see or hear him is sending some kind of strength, because what he's about to do is very scary to him. His hands are still shaking from the dream. The adrenaline in his system hasn't fully let off every time he thinks about seeing Dom. And that's why he has to do this. And so, standing in front of streaming starlight, Xainan Esch lets out a heavy sigh, his hands on the central console, before turning around. I owe you all some answers. He leans back, starts to cross his arms, and stops himself. Looking for just a place to put his hands. He is so nervous, it is radiating off of him. We are now on a mission. We are in the Apis Fuyumi system. We are headed to a planet called Keseki. My home. Or whatever's left of it. The plane level, honestly, I don't know. I don't know the charted depth. Trans has been here before, but I can't tell you any records of anything. As for the vibrancy, well, it was green. At least Keseki was. There's no scrying available. It's just what's here, but I'm going to that planet because someone that I love is there. That man, Dom, the reason we're on this ship, he was my partner for years. I knew him for so long before I knew any of you. Unkind as that greeting was, I think I probably deserved it tenfold. This place is not kind, and it has taken everything from me. So I've been collecting rations, any supplies that I can find on this ship, because we're going down to a world taken by oblivion. Claimed. He corrects himself, setting his jaw, thinking of the face of Artemis, who he is just trying to pantomime. Claimed by oblivion. The person we are searching for, their name is Azalis Raid. They were also my partner. We had another, but she is gone, apparently. And we are going to the place that, yes, my daughter, her name was Xainan Esch, and she died down on that fucking planet. I had a daughter. When I said I had a family, I had a family. And we were everything to each other down on that world. And it is gone. I know because I was there. It is full of dust. And probably, if anything is left living, monsters. It wasn't always this way. If we get down there, I guess we'll see. Now, we have done our Mayday missions before. This one's mine. My prayer brought to me somehow through the patron saint of mortals, I guess. And I can tell you what I asked for, or what's left of it, is somewhere down in that dust. And there is hope, as he says this before he steels himself for the next thing he knows he has to say. Any questions? Yes, Lumièra.
Lumièra puts her hand up so shyly and timidly, as if she's walking up to a live wire, and she can sense it. She is nothing. Before she was a chronologist, she was a medic, a healer. She knows a raw nerve when she sees it. So, as gently as she can, we don't have much to go off of right now until we do some digging. So, anything of what you can remember would be helpful. Some type of launch point. You said monsters?
I'm from a place called Haruna. It's a valley. It has a lake. It had a lake. It had a city. Haruna City. And around it, beautiful farmland. Everything you could possibly imagine to come from the earth. And around that, thus there were predators big ones. That's what I did before. I watched the flock. I stopped the monsters. There's long night cycles, be ready for that. The creatures are known for hunting at night. As for everything else, it's a prefecture in a larger world. There are roads that traveled out, and I don't know where we are going to find purchase, but there are ports. But, I don't know where those are. I know the world's a lot bigger than just Haruna, but that was my world.
I'll take to any of the computers and see if I can find anything.
Okay.
We're in
While
this
you're at the
together.
While you're at the computers or preparing to move in that direction, Lumièra, Seir's through this conversation is standing stock still. And when Xainan asks if we have any questions, I have a million. I have a million questions. The first of that list is, what the fuck does claimed by oblivion mean? And why did LSSG have you as a lone survivor if there's still something left? Oblivion is a boogeyman. It is the void. It is the end of all things. End of all things. Void. That's it. That's where the places taken by Oblivion goes. That's where my sister is. So Seir has that whirring around their head. We see the paneling lights, not blue, but white, paneling through, loading through the tail and antlers at max speed, trying to compute all of these questions, and then they stop. Seir shuts another door in his mind, as instead of asking any question of you, Xainan, your bulwark walks up to you, hand on your shoulder, gripping it, as he says, I meant what I said. Through anything.
His arm is trembling beneath your touch. It's good because it was green. By the time I left, it was nothing but dust. Whatever happened, all that green, the water, and he pulls away the layers to reveal cracks. The ones that you've known are there, the ones that the Forge Master split open in the City of Heaven with the force of a single blow. That dust, it eats everything. It takes everything.
A flash of yellow through the antlers and tail as he gazes upon that moment of failure and weakness forever in Seir's mind. And he holds to you steady still, your bulwark, your omen speaker, and he acknowledges what you're saying and says, I'll take your lead on this side. I'll stand behind you every step of the way. A sentence unspoken, but is loudly screaming from behind those black scleras is, I will step up for you, Xainan. In every single way you need and want me to, I will do that. Whatever you need.
In your eager eyes, the same eager eyes that looked to him on the wild sea in the manticore's nest. The same eager eyes from the forge. Now you see the heartbreak again. Trust. His daughter died on this world. But he will take it again. Gratitude, still. Thank you.
Don't worry about it, old man. Mira,
He worries about it.
what'd you find?
Seir, as you're turning over to Lumièra, you see Ying He by her side. And Xainan, in terms of Ying He's reaction to all of this, when you had first framed this revelation as a mission debrief, you stepping into boots far too large for you, trying to become a patron saint, the same saint that saved you, the same saint that speaks in such a specific and circular and doubled way. You had seen Ying He's eyes light up with excitement and enthusiasm. And Ying He had, in fact, been very eager to hear this as a mission debrief. This whole thing, despite some of the heaviness of it all, it's an adventure, isn't it? That's why they're here. They've been on adventures with Nova. They want to keep going on adventures with Nova. But then there was a look on your face, Xainan, a kind of teeth-bared desperation. A fear that caused that enthusiasm, that excitement from Ying He to hiccup. It doesn't sputter out entirely, it does stumble, and there's a slight furrow of the brow as Ying He registers this, as this desperation on your own face resonates with the desperation they remember from Zhiguang, the desperation of war and what it drives people to do, the desperation of isolation, the desperation of looming death and demise. And then Ying He shakes their head, blinks as Lumi moves over to the console, and just as Seir closes the door and the whites turn back to blue, Ying He's enthusiasm comes back, smooths over those heavy edges, and they sit next to Lumièra to assist her, as they always do. Oh, I got pretty good with PairPad and internet stuff in Inferno. Let me help. Actually, these past few days I've been trying to hack into this console, but the Kestrel's digital security systems have been eluding me.
What do you mean?
Well, Inez set up a pretty rigorous firewall behind anything that was sensitive. We can still access the transmission systems. That's why we've been able to send messages and browse rudimentary articles, but anything deeper than that, there's a password. And I haven't figured out what it is.
Makes sense. The cargo here is robust, valuable, and I think like if Lumièra and Ying He like sat on like two chairs facing like the console, Seir's got one arm on one chair and the other on the other, and is like leaning forward to look at the screen. And as he like looks through everything, he says, maybe it's something to do with that. It had an insignia of a double-headed serpent. Maybe there's something that what
the same one on the ship itself, right? I noticed it
yeah.
when we first boarded.
All on those barrels. Don't know what they're for yet.
It can't be something that's too complicated, because if you need to get it in a rush, you don't have time to type out an extremely complicated and long password. It's gotta be something quick and to the point, but still secure enough. Maybe this? And Lumièra will reach over into the keyboard and try all different variations that she can recall of the insignia in different languages that she can remember.
As you type in, there's like a error message with each attempt, right? As both Ying He and Seir loom over and watch very intently. You try. The lock screen continues to persist, But then a symbol appears in the middle of another error message. The symbol flashes, red and blinking and shaped like an envelope in the upper right-hand side of the screen. And Ying He kind of leans in and points it out to the two of you, and Xainan as well. Xainan, as you approach this bank as well. Oh, wait, hold on. There's something over there. And their fingers hover over the symbol on this holographic display, causing lines of information to populate across the console about this incoming message. And Ying He kind of squints at this information and decodes it at a similar rate as you, Lumièra, though slightly behind you, and they say out loud, "Oh, I think this is an incoming transmission. Look,
From
this
where?
line of data here. Let me see." And they kind of swipe through the data before they, not touching the message at all, not opening it yet, just like getting its metadata. They say, from a while ago, looks like it was pre-recorded and coded to be sent to all vehicles with open frequencies in this sector of the galaxy. I think we're approaching the sector because we're in the slipstream. I actually don't think the Kestrel specifically is supposed to receive this, but I actually did notice some work done on Inez's radio to intercept pretty much any and all messages. I don't see any viruses or anything like that.
So it's
Should
like a
we open
buoy.
it? Yeah, kind of. Like something thrown out there that anyone in the right ship could catch.
What's
Yeah,
it
that's
saying?
probably good to know.
We won't know what it says until we open it. Lumièra, you
Xainan-
tap.
Yeah.
Yep. Lumièra, your finger flashes forward and you tap the message. And sure enough, a pre-recorded video transmission opens up, and it enlarges and projects across the entirety of the Kestrel's front windshield. And all of you see a title card written in a geometric, character-based script that none of you recognize except Xainan. After all, Xainan, this script is written in Fuyumi Standard, which is a universal language that most folks across the galaxy are taught to read and write from birth. The characters are always the same, but different sectors in the galaxy, different planets, and even different prefectures within a planet have their own particular dialect for it when you speak it out loud. But the writing is always the same. Xainan, you recognize the title and you're able to read it, but before you can translate it for your team, the words glitch, a red X flickers across the screen as they scramble, like for an infinity of a second, and then they unscramble into Syndicate Standard, which is a language all of you can comprehend. And the title card reads, Safety Standards and Security Protocols for Celestial Object 99424. And before you can process what the hell just happened with the script, a woman steps in front of the title card. Or rather, a recording of a woman. She has medium brown skin, a single neon green horn protruding from her left brow, and she wears a plain, bloodless smile. She carries a holographic clipboard that feels distinctly like a prop instead of an actual tool, and throughout this, she never once looks at the clipboard. And when she talks, her voice is even and professional, with not a single emotional inflection aside from a bland enthusiasm. And she says, As a valued team member of the Deep Space Drilling Division of the Raja Yoang Mining Corporation, your safety is our top priority. As you know, your position is not without risks. Radiation exposure, equipment failure, environmental debris, and even hostile life forms. These risks are normative and manageable. Standard protocols for addressing them are outlined in Section 3 of the Raja Yoang Employee Handbook. However, a new risk has emerged in the last decade that none of our protocols have been equipped to handle until now. The management team of the Deep Space Drilling Division is proud to present this 19-part training seminar series on how to identify, manage, and mitigate the risks associated with carrying out your duties on job sites located close to the event horizon of Celestial Object 99424. Observe. The talking head smash cuts to a blurry video of a black hole. The footage is grainy and unclear, and it's obviously shot from an immense distance through a powerful telescope of some kind. Even so, you can still see it. A circular plate of void with no stars, no planets, no light, no life, nothing inside of it at all. A glowing rim of light surrounds this perfect void, forming a distorted halo of sorts. And next to the black hole, a tiny, tiny, tiny marble in comparison is Kaseki. Planet code 3321 is the closest planetary body to celestial object 99424, but rest assured that none of your assignments will take you anywhere near its vicinity. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't Kaseki a Class A resource planet worth trillions in extractable materials? You would be correct. However, a few short years prior to the emergence of celestial object 99424, Kaseki became a designated hazardous zone as a result of a climate disaster colloquially known as the wasting, the drought, or the dust. There is nothing left to extract from Kaseki. Its purpose has been served, and all rescue efforts have been halted due to severe geomagnetic storms in the planet's atmosphere. That being said, there are thousands of other mineral-rich planetary bodies and astronomical entities in the vicinity of celestial object 99424, including moons, asteroids, and even gas giant cores containing valuable elements. We will now discuss standard protocol when approaching the event horizon, and the video glitches out, and it stops.
Fuck! Xainan steps back and restrains himself very thinly from punching what was left of that video. He is almost blue in rage.
While you are blue in rage, Seir bathes Lumièra and Ying He in red light, as we see not a moving, not a strobing, a solid red LED light from the antlers and the tail, the tip of the tail tapping against the metallic floor beneath Seir, and he breathes deeply, playing back that grainy video behind his black scleras, that tiny little planet against this huge event horizon, witnessing the void in the closest way that they could possibly do. This boogeyman that has been narrated in trance all of his life, he saw in that grainy little video, and it's just as terrifying as the stories, if not more. And the Omen speaker gets extremely unsettled, because what doom rings out and resonates in the face of that event horizon? And he feels himself trying to connect and call his creator.
Seir, as you reach into yourself and the light emanates a kind of red alarm of fear leaking out from you. Just like in Inferno, Doom's presence here in Apis Fuyumi, it's not a specific voice or a singular entity that manifests, or a recognizable presence even within your mind's eye. But as you see this video, which is currently caught in a silent glitching loop of the woman's last few words, she keeps reverting a few seconds back and then playing and then glitching and reverting a few seconds back. You feel your own heartbeat in your chest going boom, 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 and you see the glitching start to move in sync with your boom, boom, boom as it glitches. And there's something about that makes you realize however Doom manifests here, it's within the technology of it all. It's within the fibers of this ship, within the unseen radiation and network that connects the galaxy to itself. There's a da-doom as you feel your fear, as you feel Doom's fear starting to resonate through the screen. But before you can parse through that too deeply, we pan over to Lumièra.
I think Lumièra was looking on. Lumièra was looking on in deep confusion all throughout this video. Like, what the fuck is this? And her face, of course, you could see it across her face. Her confusion as she's trying to put pieces together until she sees it. And much like the video itself, Lumièra seems to glitch too. And in that moment, she's never felt more small than she does right now. And I think it takes her by surprise. Like, she actually gasps and is taken breathless for a minute because it is utterly terrifying. And I think she can't tell whether if it's seeing this itself that scares her more live in person, or the fact that she can't shake how deeply familiar this feeling is. And it sits in her gut like a fucking rock and roots her to the chair that she's sitting in, blinking and lost.
Lumièra, next to you, Ying He leans forward as though transfixed, fear and exhilaration mixing in equal measure in their gaze as they unconsciously reach a hand forward and it goes through the holographic video as they try to touch the grainy footage of the black hole. As their hand goes through, there's a warble as though the hologram were made of water, and then they drag it back down to their side. They turn to the rest of Nova. They open their mouth. They start to say something. But then, all of you hear a voice coming through the speakers of the Apani Kestrel. A voice you haven't heard in days. A voice that your party perhaps willingly forgot about until this very moment.
Oh, hello!
What the fuck?
There is a whirring noise from the central console, and then a circular panel whisks open on the dashboard, almost like a garbage disposal, but the opening is 6 or 7 inches wide, and rising through this opening, slowly, magnificently, is a floating, spherical droid. A large, circular camera embedded in its body shines with a dull crimson light resembling a single red eye. And its chassis is a kind of beat-up industrial gray coloration with a white logo stamped on its side, the same logo on the hull of the Apani Kestrel itself, and on all those barrels, a 2-headed sea serpent. The Oracle's eye blinks as it levitates into the middle of your party, spinning around in midair to scan its environment with a little beam of light. And when it speaks, its voice now emanates from its body.
Oh, hello, Strike Team Nova! Did you miss me?
What are you doing here?
How did you find us?
Oh, whoa! Hey, I'm on your side! I'm a part of Strike Team Nova too, right? You didn't think you were rid of me?
Oracle, how are you here?
Yes, I suppose I do owe you some explanation of how I could
Quickly.
be here. Oh, yes, anything you say, princess. So basically, after Xainan Esch hit me like the based ball in a very rude fashion, I did go back to trans. I went back to the syndicate, and I may or may not have tattled on you to mother.
Of course you
You
did.
did what?
I had to! I mean, you were going off script! You're doing things you weren't supposed to do!
How
I
much
had to
And
tell
you are
tell
now.
them?
Hey, listen. all I told them was that you were doing things you weren't supposed to do. How do you think Strike Team Phoenix got sent after you, And even the patron saint of mortals? But hey, listen. I regret it, okay? I really, really regret it. I told Mother and she got really mad and kind of scary. Like, I've never seen her act like that before. It was really frightening. So as the syndicate kind of went on like high alert mode, and there were like alarms and stuff, and everyone got sent in a tizzy, and Artemis was, doing crisis management or something, I was able to lay low until I sensed you all come back into the journey. Because there was a moment there where you were kind of not in the journey. Like, I couldn't feel you anymore. It was very odd. It was after Striking Phoenix got sent out. Like, I couldn't feel you at all. But then I could feel you. I could sense that you were in this galaxy. So I slipped out of the syndicate, and I've been hiding here ever since. But don't worry. I destroyed all internal transmitters within me to the syndicate, so I can't be hacked or traced. Probably.
You... What? You could do that?
Yeah, obviously. You underestimate many things about me, young Seir. Many things.
That's rich coming from a tattletale.
Oh yeah? Well...
Okay.
Both of you.
Okay, please.
Oracle.
One thing at a time.
Yes, Mr. Esch,
Are you...
who hit me really hard with a baseball bat.
Xainan, please.
Xainan
open
has
his eyes to the Oracle.
2 spheres in his eyes. One eye is the Oracle and the other is Keseki. And he can't get it out of his head. You're here to help us?
Yes, that's why I'm here. Because I'm just like you, right? I've always been different. I mean, come on. I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. I've always been kind of weird, haven't I? None of the other oracles laugh at my jokes or even understand what a joke is, really. And I've always
We're
been
all the picture of
Strike Team
normal.
Nova.
It's fine.
We're all special and different in our own way, myself included. So, I'm part of Strike Team Nova. That's why I'm here.
Okay. As long as
Then,
you're useful.
Yes,
I'm sorry
very
if that-
useful. Because you can't do anything without me, because I ate the Kestro's AI.
I
You
was
did
sorry for a
what?
moment.
What? Hey, I gobbled it all up because this AI? Come on, it's freaking evil. Okay, artificial intelligence? I don't think so. Not very intelligent if it got ate by me. So you're gonna need my help. That's not why I did it, though. I did it because the AI was evil. Yes, it was super evil.
Fair enough. We don't know what it could have done, but still, can you man all this?
Who do you think's been flying the ship? Autopilot? I've been making thousands of micro adjustments to the trajectory of the Kestrel within the slipstream per millisecond. Without me, you might have crashed already. And if I hated you, if I wasn't trustworthy, would I still be keeping you all alive?
Oracle,
Yes.
all of Nova. Where we're going? You said you want to help? You want
Yes,
to
yep.
follow?
Yes,
That's where we're going. You help us, we're square.
The Oracle slowly rotates in the air and looks at this grainy footage of Keseki and the black hole. And the Oracle kind of bobs as though its head, were nodding. And it says,
Understood. I mean, you did input coordinates to Keseki, so I have been taking us toward Keseki. So I assumed we were going to Keseki. But yes, I am 100% on board with this.
Xainan just shoots a humorless kind of head cock to the Oracle.
Speaking of which, we're getting really close to our destination, actually. You four might want to buckle in, because I'm about to pull us out of this slipstream.
Sounds good.
All right, Nova. And Seir, looks at the Oracle, the equivalent, the equivalent of, this, but it's just a look, before taking a seat right by, Ying He, feeling his heart batter against his ribcage, and the red light is still glowing.
As each of you strap in to one of the 4 seats, in the central console area. The oracle kind of narrows this red eye at you, Seir, but then spins back around and faces the main dashboard. And as a object that can float, it doesn't need to strap itself in necessarily. And all of you see it float closer to the command console, and through some sort of like remote control system, you see different holographic symbols light up as it starts piloting the ship actively, like beep 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 beep, and you like hear the oracle muttering kind of under its breath,
All right, let's see just how much coolness this fusion torch drive can do. Let's see where we can take this fusion reactor core. All right, everyone, hold on to your butts. I'm pulling us down into slipstream.
and there's a beep 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 beep, beep, and there's a big jolt, and the Apani Kestrel dips out of the slipstream. And the streaking lights and glowing void around all of you vanishes, inverting out of existence. And you find yourselves in front of your destination. Keseki, planet code 3321, has been dying for over 15 years. Even from this distance, 500,000 miles away, you can see it. Or rather, you don't see it. You don't see a green expanse of forest or jungle. You don't see oceanic blues and ceruleans. You don't see neon mist or clouds. There is no red-hot fire, no rich brown earth, no scintillating purple of gem-encrusted mountains. There is one color, and one color only. Dust. An opaque blanket of gray and brown. Clouds, storms, ghosts covers every single inch of the planet's atmosphere, dense and coagulated like rotten blood. It obscures the surface of the planet in its entirety. If there are mountains, if there are oceans, if there are plains, you do not see them. You cannot sense them. You shall not know them. This blanket is the dead silt that mushrooms when a boot disturbs a decaying riverbed. It is the filth that rises into the stagnant air of a broken and abandoned temple. And you know that this is not a place of refuge. This is not a place of return. This is not a place of honor. It is one thing, and one thing only. It is dying. But that's not the worst thing about the view in front of you. Far from it. Because Keseki, planet code 3321, is a finger's width away from void. The black hole hangs in the middle of space and time, wide, wide, wide. It is the size of 1,000,000 lifetimes consumed and reborn. It is the size of death. It is the size of fate's iris, churning and churning into infinity. Swirling around it is a white-hot accretion disk of cosmic gas and interstellar plasma, the blood of demons, the blood of gods, a halo fit for the unremembered avatar of a fallen precept. Space itself bends around this void, forming a sphere, wheel, event horizon that whispers for you to cross it. As for the singularity itself, it is a region of infinite density where matter never, always collapses. It is an infinite heartbeat where the laws of reality break down, where the threads of fate invert, where the journey kisses the place beyond for a fragment of time. And in this moment, you feel it. Her. And you understand now, viscerally, why witnessing a precept feels like falling. It's the gravity of it all. The gravity of a weapon, a location, an object, creature, law so incomprehensibly massive that it can tear apart an entire universe in the passing of a thought. When you finally rest your eyes on her, the antithesis of fate, the first precept, the end of all things, it's easy to understand. The truth of it hides in plain sight. Keseki did not survive oblivion. Nothing can survive this. No mortal, no god, no world, no plane of existence. Keseki did not survive oblivion. Oblivion simply hasn't taken it. Yet. There is still time for this dying world. There is still space. Space enough for it to loom beyond the inescapable pull of the event horizon. Keseki is still here, but the apocalypse that consumes it, the dead drought that sucks all life out of its sputtering core, that is a signal flare to the end. Keseki's demise is a beacon to oblivion. Just as freshly spilled blood calls a vampire, just as survival calls a desperate god, just as Krezerin calls for flame. Oblivion hasn't taken Keseki yet, but rest assured she will. And we're gonna go to break there. See you all in 10 minutes!
Hello, Transplay Nerds! It's your favorite part of every Chaos Protocol stream. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we are thrilled to partner with the Working Families Party, a progressive third party in the United States building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. The Working Families Party is fighting for universal healthcare, taxing the rich, and higher wages. If you're in the US and you want to make a difference in your community, I highly recommend checking out the Working Families Party and getting involved with your local chapter. In fact, let's take an action together right now to sign a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This petition means a lot to us as indie actual play performers telling authentic stories, fighting censorship, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. Let's build a better future together. Howdy, Transplay Nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay! Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today.